from the Hornsby Model Railways, or Model Engineers. Welcome.
Roger, moving on, Mike. Now, you better give us the correct title of the, is it an association? Is it a group of social blokes?
Technically speaking, it's a cooperative called Hornsby Model Engineers Cooperative Limited. But we work like a club, and basically we're the same as a club. But what we do is run miniature trains and various other things, and we have our own premises out at Galston, on Galston Road, 29 Mid-Ural Road, and we run miniature train rides for the public once a month, second Sunday of the month, always there, and we get a big crowd of people coming to ride the trains, kids having birthday parties, all sorts of things like that going on. So
it's pretty popular.
It is very popular. We get a lot of people on a Sunday who come in.
How many people about would come on a normal weekend?
Around 200 families, something like that.
Families, so only 1,000 people by the time.
You got 500 people without a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes. We certainly get a lot of people. That's with the club itself does a lot of other things, but our main visible activity, I suppose, to the general public is running our public running days.
And these things don't run on fresh air, so you raise a little bit of money.
We spend all the money that we get on from those public running days gets spent on maintenance of the site. We're a non-profit organisation. It all gets ploughed back into maintenance of the site.
Mowing the lawns, making sure the rail lines are accurate.
The train lines are made of steel and they slowly go rusty, and some of them have been there for over 40 years, and we have a replacement program. It's a bit like painting the Harbour Bridge. You start at one end, replacing rail track, and work your way through to the other end, and then it's time to start again. So.
And how did it get started?
It got started 40...
You said 40 years ago, yeah.
44, I think it was. I wasn't a member at that time, but there was a group of people in Hornsby who were interested in this, and only 3 or 4 of them. I think they put an ad in the local newspaper calling a meeting of people who might be interested, and about a dozen or 15 people turned up, and they decided to form a club. And they then started looking for some land on which to build a railway line. And it so happened that one of the people involved was a surveyor or something like that with Hornsby Council at the time, and he put in the good word with the council. They went round and looked at a few sites, picked out a site, and for some years we had a lease from the council for our block of land where we built the railway track.
Who owns the land now?
Subsequently, the club itself bought it because some years back there was some uncertainty about how long we could extend the lease for. At that stage we put in a lot of infrastructure, kilometre of railway line, more buildings, things like that, and the members got together. We put up debentures, which meant that people put up a amount of money that they could afford, $500, $1,000. One member actually put up $30,000, and that raised the money to buy the block of land from the council.
What year? Or what decade?
About 10 years ago. No,
Okay.
about 15 years ago.
So that a block of land at Galston wouldn't have been cheap 10 years ago, even
We didn't pay a huge amount for it. It was something like, I think it was 170,000 or something.
Off council?
Yes, and subsequently we paid the members back, and we put on a lot of special events, fundraisers, and in 4 years we'd paid the members back. So
But in a way they're serving the community too by providing what do you call it? It's not a community service, but it's like an educational precinct.
Well, yes, yeah. we are a tourist attraction, but we also have an educational function. Occasionally we have primary school classes who are doing transport and who want to come and look at trains, and it's much nicer for the kids to come and look at our trains because they can understand about a train much more easily than they can, I think, with a full-size train. Full-size train is a bit intimidating to a 9-year-old, but our little ones, they can see the tracks and the rails and the wheels and how the wheels stay on the rails and what the points do and so on.
And well, it's a great family day out. You've got all the facilities there, and the trains are great for kids from tiny to adults of 90.
Well, yes, we have a lot of big kids as members.
You just had a really big day. Now tell us how you went. You had a successful day.
Yesterday we had the first time we've done this, but I think we'll do it again. We had a charity day where all the proceeds went to a charity called Kiss Goodbye to MS, which is a charity that raises funds for research into multiple sclerosis. And we raised a little short of $9,000 in the day. We called it the Galston 500 because we set the objective of trying to do 500 laps of the railway track combined between us. That's about 15 trains. 500 laps to get all together. A lap is just a fraction under a kilometre, so that's nearly 500 kilometres of driving on a little train between us. And we started at 6 a.m. I was out there on the track at 6 a.m. in the dark, starting off on my laps, and the last one finished about 4:30 in the afternoon with our 500th lap.
Did you get some media coverage?
Not a lot. We did understand that the MS people were trying to arrange some media coverage, but we were hoping maybe even a television camera would turn up, but it didn't. But maybe we can ensure that next year.
Definitely.
How many train drivers did you have going around to be able to do that?
Well, we had 15 teams, that is to say 15 trains, but each train was operated by 2 or 3 people as a team, so that you didn't have to sit there continuously. I must say the rear end goes a little numb after a while if you're sitting on a train for that long. So we had 15 teams, and they weren't all on the track at the same time, so there'd be 6 or 8 trains on the track.
So I was going to say, a train, there must be a siding where a train can come on and you guys go off.
Yes, we have lots of sidings.
Yeah.
Yes, come on and go off.
Do you have electric trains and diesel and steam
Yes,
trains?
just those 3, in fact. A lot of
So your electric or battery?
The electric are battery. They're basically car batteries or deep cycle batteries and an electric motor. Electric trains are very simple to drive. They need almost no maintenance. You simply plug the battery charger in, and they're a little bit boring, but they're reliable. A lot of people have so-called diesels, which are really based on lawnmower engines. Little engines like that are sometimes a bit cantankerous, as you might know when you're having trouble starting your lawnmower. They don't always go, and they're also a bit noisy to my mind, but they're quite popular, fairly easy to make, and some of them are steam trains. And I should say that steam trains are terrible things, really. They take a lot of preparation. They take a lot of cleaning up afterwards. Things tend to break because they've got a lot of little parts. They're quite difficult to drive. You really have to concentrate on putting the coal in there. And
I was going to say, you got coal and
your job. They're very dirty. When you go home, you need a thorough wash, a hair wash all over. Put your clothes straight into the washing machine. You get absolutely filthy, and they're a tremendous amount of fun.
Well, that would be the perfectionist type train, wouldn't it? Or some of the engineers that would love all that old working mechanism?
Yes, not only that, but we have a lot of members in the club who are not engineers. I must say, I'm not an engineer myself. I have a scientific background, and we have people with all sorts of backgrounds. Administrative, one of them's an opera singer, or was an opera singer, office-based people and so on, as well as engineers. And the trains are owned by a variety of people. You don't have to make your own. You can buy them. They do come onto the market from time to time.
So do you have a garage full of them, or where are they?
Well, the locomotives are generally kept at home by the owners. So people take their locomotive home in a trailer or in the back of the car.
Some of these things, especially like the steam ones, they weigh a couple of tonne or a tonne. You need like a mini crane. You can't just lift this thing out of your garage and...
Ours is only a 5-inch gauge railway. That is to say, the rails are 5 inches apart. So the engines are a reasonable size. You can manage them. I keep mine on a trolley in the garage and trundle it out and put it into the back of the car on a sort of bridging piece to run it across. But there are larger railways, some not in our club, but other clubs have a larger gauge of railway, and some of those can be really big. Some of them you don't sit on the train, you sit in the train. And I even know of one out in a country club which is powered by a Datsun car engine. It's absolutely huge.
There was a place out at Luddenham.
There still is a place
still there?
at Luddenham, yes.
Okay. So then different, and with model trains and like the setup at Galston, which is in our local community, how many are scattered across New South Wales? Half a dozen?
More than that. I think there's probably about 15 clubs in New South Wales and about 40-something Australia-wide. Quite a spread of clubs.
Trains generate a lot of interest,
They do. They sure do.
Yeah.
So when's the next meeting?
Well, the next public running day will be the second Sunday of the month, which I think will be the 10th of June. Probably.
Okay, all right.
Whatever's the second Sunday, we're on every second Sunday of every month, all year round.
Do you charge an admission, or is there a donation?
$8 for adults to get into the site, but children come in for nothing.
Okay.
And then you pay for train rides, and that's $2.50 per ride, irrespective of your size.
How many passengers get on a little 5-inch gauge train?
Depends on the train, but the carriages, which are not taken home, they're generally stored at the club securely. The carriages will take one carriage to take, say, 2 or 3 adults and a couple of children, something like that. So a train would typically take 4 or 5 adults and a sprinkling of children.
Okay, so maybe up to 7 or 8 people.
Some locomotives will pull bigger trains than others, a larger number of carriages. Some of our engines will pull 6 carriages, which is a lot of people.
All right, that's great. Thanks for coming in.
I'm very pleased to be able to talk to you. Can I also say that, if I can take another moment, that we're always looking for new members. You don't have to be an engineer. If people are interested in getting involved in this sort of a hobby, then we welcome beginners. We offer a range of things to people who want to become members of the club. We have a workshop that people can use. We have a technical library with 1,800 books and about 5,000 magazines. So a lot of facilities there.
So many people are fascinated by trains too.
Yes, not only trains, but we do other things. We have smaller trains, garden gauge trains, so to speak. We have a few people interested in planes, a few in boats. We even have a couple of clockmakers, people who make clocks, an interesting occupation, and various things like that. So
how did the people find you through social media?
Yes, or our website, www.hme, for Hornsby Model Engineers, hme.org.au.
It's awesome.
Fantastic.
We've got news at 5 o'clock. We've been speaking with Roger from the Hornsby Model Engineers Group, Co-op.
Yes.
HME.
Hornsby Model Engineers, that's probably...
Hornsby Model Engineers. And,
Oh, it's fantastic.
Thanks again for coming in, Roger.
It's a great family day out.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a fun hobby. You could enjoy making things, but I also really appreciate watching these little kids getting the fun out of it. It's tremendous.
You're on Triple H. It's 5 o'clock.